So let's go over to Apple. I know you all want to see Apple, and then Goldman. So this is the other service I use, which is Q Charts, and it does aftermarket stuff. So this is the hourly chart, and Apple had that double bottom, the little double bottom at 240 today, and then when it charged over 246, that was the first place where you started to get the feeling technically that Apple probably had exhausted itself for the near term, at least until earnings came out. Whether or not it was going to take off is another thing altogether, and so you draw on some trend lines and you say, well, where does Apple really have to go? Or what does it have to do to lead me to conclude that it's done for a while on the downside? Well, sure enough, this is 255, 256. Once Apple took off, it got above 255, 254 and change, you knew that something was going on. Well, everything north of that in here was really after earnings. 259, 260, up to 260, almost 263. 263 is very important because now what you have here are these highs on recovery rallies in Apple to 263 roughly. And if Apple consolidates 256, 259.60 tomorrow and then takes off and takes that out to 263, then Apple not only will look like it made a significant low after correcting from almost 280 to 240, and look, we can make the case that this was sort of a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. The neckline in here in Apple 245, 244, 240. Had Apple reacted negatively, or if Apple fails to get above 263 to continue higher and rolls over and ends up for some reason down near 240 again, you still have this sort of major topping kind of area, and the objective it could be $30, $40 on Apple, and that's where I came up with 210 to 200. So we can't rule that out yet, although certainly it feels as though Apple now is out of the woods. If Apple backs up here and ends up below this trend line again, then we have some problems, or Apple has some problems, because then it will have trapped these people up here, and if it ends up below 253.5, then Apple could really surprise us on the downside. And in the scheme of things, it went from what, $79 to $279. So if Apple went to 200, it wouldn't be a catastrophe. But there would be a lot of people wondering about the overall market if Apple broke down again after doing this today. All right, so that's Apple. Let's do